Majestic.
Wordplay, no longer afraid. Activation of my DNA. My energy is grade A. Stepped into the gateway. On the other side was a payday. Ain't talking about no candy. Eat a starve, I'ma grab a plate. Grubbing like a buffet.
Alright, baby. Y'all, let's get it, man. Let's get it. Hey, first movie we gonna review, right, baby? It's about to get majestic in this motherfucker, alright? Let's get it. F1. If you haven't seen it, go see it. Please go see it. Look, I've never been in the movie theaters where I was legitimately sitting on the edge of my seat. Not once. Not a scary movie, not a cartoon, not an action movie, not even for Black Panther. This movie literally had me on the edge of my seat, right? It's the first time I've ever actually experienced that expression on the edge of your seat. It's a very inspiring, motivating, captivating movie on the surface. On the surface, all right? So, before we get into it, disclaimer, if you have not watched it and you don't want to hear me talk about it before you see it, like the video so that the video goes into your liked videos so you don't lose it. Go watch the video, go watch F1, and then when you go watch it, bring your ass back and then we can talk about it. All right? And then when you come back, subscribe. But you're going to subscribe regardless. You're going to subscribe while we're in the middle of this video because you're like, damn, Majestic is really majestic, bro. The shit he's talking about is majestic. On my soul. Hey, let's get it. Let's motherfucking get it. I ain't gonna hold you. I took 11 pages worth of notes on my phone watching this movie. And I'm not finna sit here and pretend I memorized all of them. I'm gonna keep it authentic. Matter of fact, I'll show you motherfucking phone. You know what I mean? I'll show you the motherfucking phone. Right? All in there. Can't see it. Still can't see it. There you go. Type shit. Alright. So, first and foremost, let me open up with the plot of the movie. F1. You have they say he's a retired racer from F1 series. Stopped racing because he had a car wreck. In the racing series, he's known for his aggressive driving skills. I meant to say abilities. Either way, he's known for the way he drives. He drives in a very aggressive way, completely different from the rest of the other drivers in the F1 community. He's approached by an old competitor. If I understood it correctly, he's approached by an old competitor early on in the movie, offers him a seat to race in F1 again. He takes the opportunity. It's a journey. At the end of the journey, they end up winning. All right, now let's unpack it. Because that's the basic way, right? That's the basic story. That's the what the average viewer sees. Now, when we sit down and we actually watching for not entertainment but wisdom and messages, first and foremost, this movie hit me personally because there's a scene in the movie where they have a meeting where the two main characters and the female tech of the team, of the F1 team, have a meeting. So you've got Sonny Hayes, Brad Pitt, the main character, and then you've got the other main character, Joshua Pierce. I don't know his real name, but I fuck with Joshua Pierce. Or Sonny, Brad Pitt kept calling him JP in the movie. He didn't like it. I was fucking with it. I thought it was pretty smooth. I thought JP was a cool ass name. Not gonna hold you. I thought it was cool. I thought it was something sweet. You know what I mean? So they're in the movies, or they're in the meeting in Las Vegas before the race, the night before their race. And the female tech leaves a letter on Brad Pitt's table in his hotel room And we can assume, the audience is supposed to basically assume that same thing happens for JP because they both end up at the same time. They get there, he sees Sonny is sitting at the bar. Once he arrives, the waiter is like, okay, babe, both of y'all are here. I'll bring y'all to the table. And they bring them to her, the female tech of the race team. She's in control of the aerodynamics and the development of the car as far as parts and how the car is designed. So this part hit me because at this point in time in my life, I was going through a conflicting moment where I had a piece of me, my impatient self, troubling my own self, my current self. And then I had another piece of me, which is the part of me that doesn't listen to me or anyone else. And I have to figure out how to stop that. I have to figure out how to hear my own self within. So you have to realize the way that I see this from a very high perspective. I understand that there is three main energies within you. Every person, every human being, male, female, trans, gay, heterosexual, whatever you are, it does not matter. These energies all exist in you. It applies to every single person. You have a masculine energy, you have a feminine energy, you have an inner child. For example, the inner child is the one who came up with this idea for me to start doing these videos. The masculine in me is the one who created the plan for me to actually take action and start carrying out the videos. The feminine energy in me is the one who's talking right now, the one who's helping me create it. For a brief lesson on that. So we have all these energies present. We've got Joshua Pierce symbolizing the inner child. You've got the female tech symbolizing the divine feminine energy. You got Brad Pitt symbolizing the wounded masculine energy. So at this point in the movie, I'm really watching, I'm like, okay, I hear you. I'm seeing it. And then I realized when they start actually somewhat arguing, I don't want to say it was arguing, it was more like a little bit of bickering, you know what I'm saying? Just a little bit of bickering. It wasn't arguing, it wasn't a real argument. And she asked JP, why doesn't she like Sonny? What can Sonny do better or something like along those lines? And that's when he says he doesn't listen. You know what I'm saying? He thinks he can come in and just run the show, this, and that, blah, blah, blah. But the main thing is he don't listen. And then she turns to Sonny. It's funny as hell. It's funny to the motherfucker. I ain't gonna hold you. She turns to Sonny and she says, well, Sonny? And his response is, huh? So it's like he just proves his point. He just proves JP's point right then and there by not listening. You know what I'm saying? And it's not the first time it's happened in the movie. It happens early on in the movie as well. I believe, I want to say it's in the first race. During the first race of the movie, it happens. So she asks Sonny, why doesn't he like JP? He says JP has an underdeveloped prefrontal cortex. And JP, of course, being young, he doesn't know what that means. So he's asking, a what? Right? And basically, Sonny breaks it down and lets him know he's not mature enough and he's not patient enough. And he brings this up because early on in the movie, the second race of the movie, when they go to Hungary, when they race in Hungary or Hungary, however you say it, when they go to this race, Sonny sets up the race in a perfect way. We'll get to this part in the notes as well. But Sonny sets the race up perfectly. He finds a strategy to where he can place JP, only JP though, because at this point in the movie, the car is not fast enough. The car is not fast enough to hit the straightaways. It's not able to just directly beat. It can't go head to head with Ferrari and Red Bull. And there's another car that they were struggling to beat head to head. They can't beat head to head. They had to beat it in the corners and with strategy. Strategy. So he gets to the last lap. They're literally on the last lap, and Sonny tells JP, because it starts raining. So they even had a strategy for that. JP stayed on soft tires while all the other F1 racers switched to, I think, winter tires. And then Sonny stayed on hard tires. So Sonny tells JP, be patient around the last corner. Once you come out the last corner, then overtake him. So JP's excitement takes over him. It takes over JP because he sees an opening before he's supposed to take it. He says, I see the opening, I'm going to take it. He takes the opening and goes too wide. And because he goes too wide, the car slides. Because you got to remember, they're on a wet track now in Hungary. It's already raining. So he takes the chance to go in front. He tries to overtake. He's ready. He's trying to get his first win of the season, first points of the season. And, well, actually, I think they get their, no, because they both wrecked in that first race. So he's trying to get his first points of the season, and he's trying to get his first score and win of the season. So he goes outside, he gets excited, he goes outside, he emerges outside, tries to take the turn, slides, hits the I don't even know what the terminology is called for it because I don't really follow F1 like that. But it's the little, when you're on a racetrack, when you're on a circuit track, and they've got the little red and the white, it's like a little bump. It's like a slight bump. You know what I'm saying? It's obviously higher than the surface of the rest of the track. It's not surfaced with the track. Matter of fact, it's a slight elevation. So if you know what that's called, put that in the comments so I can know. So I can know for the next time. So, but he slides because of the wet road. His tires are soft, and he hits that bump, the little red and white bump. And when he hits this bump, he's going, I think they say he's going about 200 miles an hour, 230, something like that. And it sends him in the air. You know, he does 2, 3, maybe even 4 rotations. And then all you see is a ball of fire ignite. So Sonny sees it, he stops and tries to, grab him out the car and save him and all this. And, everybody obviously on the team is shocked. Everybody in the crowd is quiet or whatever and all of this. So Sonny says, JP, we're going back to the meet. And JP, you're not, you're underdeveloped in the mind and the brain, and you're not patient. So this meeting right here is when I realized, for me, this is exactly what's going on. I have a higher version of me telling me to do this. Then I have my old version of myself telling me to do this, but they both they have flaws. So I have to figure out how to integrate both of them and how I can make each one of them work together within me, which leads me to the overall message of the whole movie, which is teamwork, right? Because if you want to be a leader, if you want to be on any winning team, you have to have great teamwork. But great teamwork starts within yourself, within those 3 energies I mentioned. So if your internal family, your masculine, your feminine, and your inner child, if they're wounded, if you haven't properly healed them, if you haven't properly processed emotions from your childhood or any situations that could have been traumatic, those wounded energies are going to come up and opportunities, and it's going to cause you to miss it. But you never miss any opportunities. You're just not able to take advantage of that one at the moment, right then and there. Because then you have another opportunity to show you that, okay, you obviously need to fix something within you right here before you can progress to the next level. So let me get back to the notes. And I'm going to try to bring it in chronological order for you now. So now that we got the overall message is teamwork and how that affected me internally, realizing I had to integrate both my old self and my best self into the self that I am currently, then I understood that message. I was like, okay, damn, I got it. That makes sense, right? That makes sense. So let's get to Sonny. I'm reading off the notes just so you know. We were writing off notes. I showed y'all the phone. Don't pretend like you don't know. All right. Get you some water or some shit. Get something to snack on. My soul, get you some crackers. Hey, get you some crackers. Hey, so look. So the way Sonny drives, he's an aggressive driver. They talk about it all throughout the movie. Everybody is always critiquing it. Everybody has something to say about it except for him, which is fine. This demonstrates self-trust in your own abilities and not changing your abilities based off of what other people think. because then that's called people pleasing. So he does. It's evident that he's not a people pleaser. He has trust in himself. He has confidence in the way he drives, and the way he drives is he makes his moves in the turns. He makes his moves in the turns, not the straightaways. What does that symbolize? Not many people do that. Most people would think you've got to attack on the straightaway. Even when they first showed us, or when we first got introduced to JP, they were showing him on the track, and he was trying his best to figure out how to pick up pace on the straightaways. And so was the female tech. She was trying to figure out in the room when she was working on aerodynamics, trying to see how could they pick up more speed to take off even just a half a second on the straightaways. So when you come in a different perspective like Sonny does, you are now giving the option to look at things from a different perspective. When you see it from a different perspective, now you're creating your way instead of following the way. It's kind of like an entrepreneur and a person who gets a 9 to 5. In a 9 to 5, you have a way created for you already. You have a path that's already created for you. You just go here, start off entry level. You can become a manager. You become, I don't know what's after that, what, area manager, then regional manager, superintendent. And then if you still alive and you ain't old and you can still function, potentially, I don't know, the CEO or whatever, head of the whole corporation for whatever reason, unless it's a family thing. So that's paved out. But that's going to take what? 20, 30, 40, 50, shit, maybe even 80 years. You know what I'm saying? But as an entrepreneur, you start young. You create your own path. So you have to figure shit out on your own. It's not a path created. You have to trust your intuition. You have to have that self-confidence. You have to have all of these things working in coordination with yourself. And it all goes back to the teamwork within yourself. So you have Sonny, who is this entrepreneurial mindset type of person, thinks outside the box. He's the rebel. He don't listen to nobody, like JP said. He doesn't listen to nobody, which is good, but it's also bad. It could be a blessing, and it could also be a curse. You got to learn how to balance it. All right. So I touched on trusting yourself, and we're gonna go to the beginning of the movie now, and from here it's gonna be chronological order for the best that I can do. So at the beginning of the movie, we've got 24 hours in Daytona. Sonny wakes up out his car. He gets out the car, or it's really a van. It's like like the mystery van from Scooby-Doo. So he gets out the car, gets dressed, comes in there. I don't know what position they're in. He's racing for Porsche. He's not doing F1 racing right now. This is before he gets offered F1. He's racing for Porsche. I don't know what place or position they're in, but as soon as they switch the tires, he switches out with the driver. He gets in, and immediately he's taking control of the track. He's taking control of the race. He gets in first within a matter of 3 minutes, and then he holds that for however long he drove for the sun to up to sunrise. I think I want to say he started driving at like midnight or something. So in this race, you've got Sonny and you've got a BMW driver. This part of the movie focuses on you to, the message is to focus on yourself. Run your own race, run your own pace. Not to compare yourself, not to compete with others, but to compete with yourself. So what happens is Sonny's driving, as we've already stated, he's an aggressive driver. He attacks in the curves, not the straightaways. So Sonny's driving, you got the BMW trying to overtake Sonny. Sonny's pushing it all the way down the straightaway. He's pushing it, he's not letting off. They get to the point where they're about to go into the entry. Sonny's still on the gas, so is the BMW. Sonny knows when it's time for him to hit the brakes, downshift, and go into the curve smoothly without spinning tires, without turning too hard, too soft, understeering, oversteering. He knows how to handle it perfectly, correctly, because this is how he drives. This is his way of driving, not the BMW's way of driving. The BMW gets competitive and starts focusing on the outside world and not his internal world, and he starts watching Sonny and tries to compete with Sonny. So when they get to this turn, when Sonny slams on the brakes, the BMW realizes he's already too late. He tries to slam on the brakes with Sonny, but he doesn't slam on the brakes quick enough. So his tires lock. Tires lock, you lose traction, you lose traction, you lose time. Spinning is not winning, right? So you lose traction. He runs off the track while Sonny's still on the track, makes the perfect clean turn that he needs to. Bust a left, bust a right. As he comes off of the right turn, the BMW basically drove through that field that Sonny turned around in or turned through on the circuit of the track. And the BMW comes off the track or comes back onto the track spinning, right? Because he's hitting those little red and white things. Again, if you know what those are, please put it in the comments. I don't know what the fuck they're called. But he hits the little red and white things, and he's losing traction, and he starts swerving because he doesn't have control of the car. Sonny goes around him, and after that, Sonny's in the lead, and you don't see much else competition for Sonny again until he gets into the F1. Is that quick that he takes over the first place, and then he just holds it. So gets to the end of the race, they win. Sonny starts packing. He's looking for another open seat. The chief, the crew chief, team chief, I don't know what he was. I don't know what they're called. Sees Sonny is about to leave, so he asks Sonny, "Are you about to leave?" Like, he's like, "What about? I thought it was a good race. Like, just one and done." You know what I'm saying? Like, he's trying to convince him to stay. And he's like, "No, I'm going on the next journey." Basically, that's all it is. I'm going on the next journey. The thing is, Sonny never has fear. So the following statement from the crew chief, he says, "So you're just going to spend your whole life starting over." Because Sonny has no fear, Sonny's not attached to anything. We can demonstrate this. This is something humans need to start demonstrating within themselves. How many things are you attached to currently right now? I guarantee you, if you're not attracted, I said attracted, I meant to say attached. If you ain't attached to a human being in your life, your mom, your daddy, your spouse, you have some type of attachment in this motherfucking world. It might be your phone, might be the car, might be some jewelry. But I guarantee you, every human being has one attachment, and you've got to detach from this one attachment. This one attachment keeps you in the 3D world. You know what I'm saying? That attachment holds you back, holds you down. That attachment gives the opportunity for others to use that attachment against you. Because the moment you lose that attachment, what's going to happen? You ain't going to know what the fuck to do. That's why you need to become detached. And again, have this excellent teamwork within yourself. So him saying you just start over again symbolizes that Sonny has no problem detaching. He's not attached to the trophies. He doesn't even like touching the trophies. He tells them don't. They offer him to hold the trophy. He says he don't want to touch it. It's bad luck. He's not even attached to the trophy. He's not attached to the trophies. He's not attached to the media. He's not attached to the fans. He's not attached to the team. The only thing he wants to do is race. And we'll get into why later. He only wants to race. So this symbolizes death and rebirth in the mind. So fast forward, next scene, he gets to the laundromat. He's looking for his next race. It's a Baja race. It's like buggies and cars, desert racing and shit. I don't know the exact term for that either. But guess what? If you know it, you already know what to do. Put it in the motherfucking chat. All right. Put it in the I said in the chat too. I meant to say the comment. Put it in the comments. So it comes. This is when we're first introduced to Ruben. Ruben is the owner of, or one of the owners, I guess you could say the co-owner of the APX team that he's offering the seat for Sonny to race with JP in. Sonny comes in. Ruben comes in. Sonny's looking at the race. He's not focused on him. He asks, can I borrow your phone? This is Ruben speaking. Can I borrow your phone? Mine isn't working. Sonny, again, is not a people pleaser, so his response is, no, you can't. Right? But he says, you remind me of a friend it was something about style. He was basically talking about his outfit. And he said, this is a Gucci suit. Ruben responds with, this is a Gucci suit. So Sonny says, well, so is this. Meanwhile, even though he's saying, so is this, Sonny is wearing a white t-shirt, a dingy white t-shirt at that, and some jeans. Ruben has on a legit suit. Now, if it's Gucci or not, I don't know. It did not look like a Gucci suit to me. But we're not going to hold We ain't gonna hold too much weight on that. It's not that important. You know what I'm saying? What's important is Sonny's perception. Ruben says this is a Gucci suit. His response is, so is this. You see what I'm saying? So he's not worried about the clothes. He perceives himself to already be rich within himself. It's the next gem that you need to grasp for yourself. Everybody wants to be rich, but what are you doing? You're looking for the richness externally. You're looking for evidence of the wealth, but you forget that wealth starts within again, back to the internal teamwork. Do you see the pattern already of the movie? And we haven't even gotten 20 minutes into the movie yet. We've gotten 25 minutes into the video. But that's just because I'm talking. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to break this down so you get all of the details and you really truly see. You understand what I'm saying? So obviously he offers him the deal. He offers him the deal, $350 million deal to go, or I think that's the deal that Ruben got to become the co-owner. And he's offering Sonny the seat. Sonny's basically denying. He's laughing. He's literally laughing at Ruben. He laughs at him the first time he says he needs a driver. So, so they go to the diner. I don't even know if it's for breakfast or for lunch. Can't really tell. But they're at this diner. Ruben's still trying to convince Sonny. Sonny's not budging. Ruben pulls out the magazine, and on the front cover of the magazine is Sonny's younger self when he was first in Formula. So you've got the yellow suit, you got the yellow car. We're gonna stop it right there. First off, this right here is inner child for Sonny. This is Sonny's inner child, the big dreamer, right? You've got the big dreamer. I see it and I want it. I see it, I can achieve it. This is your inner child is who you are, everything you think you can do, everything you imagine, and then you make it happen. This is why it's important to heal your inner child, because that opens and unlocks the creativity within you. It opens your mind. And if you can't open your mind, how the fuck do you expect to succeed doing anything? Narrow minds don't win. Narrow minds work miserably, trying to free themselves, but they don't know what the fuck to free themselves from. And that's the sad part. So that's the first message of this. And Ruben says, what would he say? And then you've got the yellow. There's so much yellow in the picture on that magazine, because the color of yellow, right, is what? Joy. Symbolizes joy. The sun is what? Yellow. Confidence is also another symbolic color attached to yellow or linked to yellow. So it makes sense, displaying all the confidence that Sonny has already displayed just in these first 30 minutes of the movie. So Ruben leaves. I believe he pulls out a ticket and he gives a ticket to like a plane ticket to Sonny. He says, if you're gonna come, it's a first class, private class, some shit like that ticket. He describes the ticket, whatever the fucking ticket is, right? Regardless, he gives Sonny the ticket to get him out to APX so he can be on the team. Ruben leaves. The diner waitress walks by. She gives Sonny his food and asks, and as she's walking away, Sonny asks, "Can I ask you something?" She says, "Yeah, go ahead." So he says, "You've got a close friend that comes in, makes you an offer that's 100% sounds too good to be true. What do?" Her response, "How much money are we talking?" He says, "It's not about the money." She says, "So what is it about then?" And then we transition to the next scene. This question right here is the question of purpose. Anything that you do, what is your purpose? What's your why? Because again, if it's about the money, it's not going to go far, right? This question alone, this quote alone made me look within my own self. Like, what the fuck am I like? Why am I doing this? If it's not about the money, what would I be doing it for? Then for me, I came to the answer of peace. Sonny doesn't give us the answer yet. We have to wait, right? So this is the first time we transition into the next scene. You've got Joshua Pierce on the track. He's running. It's the first time they're introduced to Joshua Pierce and the car. It's the first time we're introduced to the car that they'll be running with all the time. Black and gold. And then you've got Joshua Pierce. I believe it's a Mercedes engine, at least. So he's on the track. He's running. He's trying to beat his time. It's a 130 point something. I think like 130.5, and he misses his time by like 0.3 of a second. So I believe he said turn 1 and turn 9 were like the turns that he was struggling with. He would keep locking up the brakes on. And gets back, brings the car back into the box, also known as the pit stop. I learned that through the movie. Gets back into the box and goes to the female tech. That's the first time we're introduced to the female tech. Again, I'm not sure what her name is, so I'm just referred to her as the female tech. She's a white girl, blonde lady, the one that Sonny's in love with. The one that Sonny wants to be with. All right, they'll be romantic partners in this movie. Not at the beginning though. So she asks, what do you see? Or what do you feel? What's going on? She's trying to get Joshua to tell her basically what can be improved on the car, but she can't improve it because he doesn't know what's going on with the car either. So you have this slight bickering, and then in comes the head tech chief. He's a bald old guy, white guy. You know him when you see him. Again, I don't know his name. I seen him as more like a minor character, so it wasn't that important to me. And he comes in with his kid, and she comes in, and he puts her in the F1. Puts her in the F1, and he's like wow, $150 million jungle gym. Joshua's response is, we should let her drive. It can't be any worse. This is another reference to the inner child, because again, if the inner child was to drive, do you think they would care about winning? Do you think they would care about the speed? Do you think they would care about beating their lap times? No, they wouldn't. They would just have fun with it. You gotta understand, there's a piece of Joshua that was missing the fun. He was taking driving too seriously. So you have a second reference to your inner child. The first one was Sonny on the magazine. Now you've got an actual legitimate child in the car, and he says, we should let her drive. It can't be any worse. So fast forward, it's first time all the characters meet Sonny, including Joshua. They kind of go back and forth. Sonny realizes or finds out that he wasn't the first option. He was actually like, I think, the 7th option. And then the head tech guy, the bald guy with the belly, with the kid, says, actually, someone didn't call back. So he's like, that makes me 8th. And then they continue bickering. And then he says, I'm starting to feel like a 9. And then there's something else that's mentioned to where it ends up Sonny was actually the 10th. So they say 10 about 5 times. Now, if you're not aware, I suggest you take your time to research this. There's an experiment called Focus 10. This experiment is a meditative experiment. Let me lower this mic. There we go. There we go. Why didn't y'all tell me the mic was so high? hey. So there's an experience. It's an experience that helps you meditate. It puts you into a meditative state. It's got all these things you got to listen to. You got sounds in the left ear, sounds in the right ear, specific frequencies and harmonies that are supposed to put your brain into all these different meditative states. So you've got the meditative state. You got wave, delta wave, theta brain state, gamma waves. I don't think you ever reached that. And there's another one, alpha, I think it is. But the whole purpose of this exercise is to put you into the delta wave state, the meditative state, so you can observe your mind. So this is called the Gateway Project. I'll link it If I'll try to figure out how to link it in the video. If I can't figure out how to link it in the video, I'll just link it in the description and in the comments for the Gateway experiment, for the Gateway project. It's about 5 sections. They all introduce something new. So once you get to about the third or fourth section, that's when you first learn how to do focus 10. The 10 is completion. The 10 is to bring your consciousness back from the meditative state. So every time you say 10, you'll even hear it in the audio that's recorded for the Gateway to say 10, 10, 10. Okay, now come back. 10, 10, 10. Use 10 to come back out of that state. Use 10 to go in the state and use 10 to go out that state. So they say 10 maybe 4 or 5 times after that. They walk back into the garage. They say, okay, they're arguing. Everybody stops talking. And Sonny says, you know what? Put me on the same setup as Joshua. If I can't hit times within a second of him, then you can go and call, number 10 or something like that. 10, like a question mark. And he's talking to the female tech. She says 10. Then he says 10 again. And then he says 10 one more time and then walks off. So he says 10 about 4 times. Everybody says 10 4 times. So this, like I said, is an exercise that technically puts you into a meditative state, and then it also brings you out of a meditative state. So if they said it 4 times, first one is entering it, second one brings you out. First one or the third one is entering, the last one is bringing them out of the meditative state so they can focus. And it's extremely synchronistic that it's called Focus 10, because the very next scene is him getting dressed and they're pointing and showing him how to, I want to say they're showing him how to work the F1, or they're explaining some shit to him, but you can see the amount of focus on Sonny's face, right? Coming right after I bring up Focus 10. This is the first time that you see somewhat teamwork from the team. So while that's happening, he runs his times, he runs his laps, he spins out, comes back, figures it out, and ends up crashing the car at the end of the finish line. But he beats Joshua's lap time by half of a second. So because of that, he stays on the team, right? He stays on the team. Fast forward, Joshua Pierce his manager is looking for other teams to race for, because they're not satisfied with APX. Did I say that right? APX team. They're not satisfied with the team because they're not scoring. They're not scoring any points. No one has won in 2 seasons. Ruben's job is on the line. Everyone's job is on the line. So you have that. My fault. Catching up on the notes, making sure I'm still on point. So you have that. So this symbolizes JP looking for another team. This symbolizes when people put their faith in another location. Have you ever been somewhere and you've heard someone else say, man, if I was just over at such and such, it would be so much better. My life would be so much easier. This is kind of what that is referencing. Joshua is losing and he realizes he's on a shitty team, and obviously he wants to win, right? He's a rookie. So what's his first thing? He thinks to leave, to run and go somewhere else. But see, when you do that in your everyday life, you're going to come across that same issue again. It just it'll present itself in a different way, but it'll be the same exact problem. You ever heard of the term same person, different person, same problem? I dated 3 females. when I was younger. From the time I was 14, I think, up until the time I was 22. They were all the same. They were just in different bodies. Why did that happen? Because I thought going to another female would help it. I thought that would fix it. I thought that was it. I thought changing the destination, changing the human, I'll be good. I won't have this problem if I go with her, date with her. I break up with you, go with this one. Same shit. Break up with her, go with someone else. Same shit. Third time it happens, right? Third time's the charm. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Why do I have the same problems? Why y'all all are the same fucking female? Not to realize that I was missing the lesson. The lesson was me for to learn self-love. Once I learned self-love, I stopped jumping from female to female. Instead, I started jumping to myself. Similar case. JP is trying to jump from team to team. He thinks that's going to solve his problem, but it's not going to solve his problem. He's got to learn. So that's the first time we see that. Go to the press conference now. At the scene of the press conference, they're asking JP a couple of questions. JP's trying to keep it professional, you know. Sonny's more of a Marshawn Lynch at the at the press conference. He doesn't like the press conference. He doesn't like the press conference. So it's kind of, they ask him all these questions and his response to every question is just yes. And it's a very monotone. It's just yes, yes, yes. Yes, with the biggest smile on his face, right? With the biggest smile on his face. And they try to, so this is symbolic because what they're trying to do, you have the outside world trying to shake you up. They try to bring up, I wouldn't say it's things buried in the past. I'm sure they played a role in Sonny's development. And I'm sure Sonny had to figure out ways to overcome it. But they tried to bring up the past, try to bring up his past and use it against him as far as him dating multiple women. They say he had a gambling problem. There was a couple of other things that it just wouldn't look good for someone to say yes, that, you know, and leave it at that. You know, most people would try to defend themselves. He didn't try to defend himself. He just said, yeah, yeah, yeah. So what? Right? And then that's the end of the press conference. That's the end of the press conference. What's mentioned in the press conference is JP. They ask, how do they feel about Sonny joining the team? His response is, he thinks it's very sweet and kind that they're giving the elderly a chance to race again or something like that, something along those lines. JP's mom doesn't like that comment. They switch scenes to the first time that they're both about to race, about to compete with each other. Well, together as a team, like they typically should. Right? Doesn't go like that, but that's how it should go, right? So while they're Sonny's visualizing, you know, he's driving like this, he's visualizing himself driving, you know, that's his little way to focus before race prep. Sonny has a different race prep method. He throws cards. He throws cards and he throws tennis balls or bounces tennis balls, however you look at it. He does both though. Sonny or JP, his mom makes him apologize for that comment at the press conference. So JP, you know, apologizes, and Sonny calls him out directly. He says, "Oh, it's fine. I know that you were just afraid that I'm faster than you," which is true, right? This is true, and because it's so true, JP is shook. He doesn't know how to respond because Sonny has hit him through his ego. Sonny has hit him behind the mask. Even though JP trying to put on his mask, Sonny is still targeting and hitting him straight through the mask and letting him know, I see you directly. I know exactly why you're trying to be the way that you're acting right now. Simply because you think and you're afraid that I'm faster than you. And he doesn't take it personal. And that's the message right there. That's the hidden gem right there. Not to take anything personal. Right? Sonny has a method, a ritual, where he shuffles the cards, splits the deck, pulls out the first card on the top of the deck that he splits, puts it in his pocket face down, and then he goes on to the track. These deck of cards and this one card, this ritual, this method, symbolizes a lot of things. So, one thing that it symbolizes the trusting of the unknown. Throughout this movie, you'll see the entire team is afraid of the unknown at some point in time, including Sonny. As an example, that we all face in the real world. Everybody is comfortable when they know what's going to go on, what's going to happen. They're looking for the certainty, the security. A lot of people are afraid of the unknown, so they stay away from it. Hence the fact, while I said in the first video, in the introduction video, and I said everybody is afraid of the unknown, but I was created to go into the unknown. I was the one who's created to be able to jump into the rabbit holes so I can go get the information for the people who are scared of the unknown so they can understand a little bit better. But until you jump into that darkness, that unknowingness, you'll never know. And the thing is, you're not going to, there's nothing bad in the unknown. You discover more of yourself. You're afraid of yourself. You understand what I'm saying? So when we see it from that point of view, everybody at some point in time shows fear of their own self in the movie. And the capabilities and possibilities of what could possibly happen. You know? So that's one thing that this deck of cards symbolize. Another thing it symbolizes is, you know, the term that says you got to play your cards right. You got to play the cards that the universe gives to you, not the cards you receive, but it's how you play the cards. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of what you get, it's all about how you play your cards. And I think that's very symbolic specifically for Sonny because, again, he doesn't look at the card when he goes out into the track. He just puts it in his pocket. And to me, that makes me feel like he's not completely improvising, but if he has to improvise, he's ready. You know? It's like he's got that face down card. You ever watch Yu-Gi-Oh and shit? And be like, I choose this card and this card, and I'll lay this card down, face down, and I'll end my turn. On my soul, Yu-Gi-Oh boy, on my soul. Tap in with that motherfucker, boy. Real shit. So you got that. Now we get to the point where Sonny uses his first strategy. This is the first card that he plays. All the drivers pull off. They do their little warm-up lap to warm up the tires and stuff like that. Sonny sits back for like 5-10 seconds. They ask Sonny what's going on. Says something's wrong with the car. He don't know how to start it. Then he starts the car. Right? This plays a trick on everybody. His own team, the announcers, the crowd, and the racers. It's a psychological trick. So it's his first card that he plays. What's going on is unnormal. Most people drive straight up. They all go together, warm up the tires. He goes by himself. So when he finally drives and goes forward, he's got all the track to himself to warm up the tires. He pulls up to the starting line just in time to not get disqualified. And you see Joshua, it's affecting Joshua as well because he's mad like, where's Sonny? Where's Sonny? Where's Sonny? Like, he's holding us up. He's holding us up, which means he's already in JP's mind. And if he's in JP's mind, he's in another driver's mind. So it's a psychological trick. There is a, I can't remember if he was a Japanese or Chinese sensei, and I honestly truly forgot his name. But one thing that he did was learn how to defeat the opponents psychologically. I believe it's something that's in the art of war as well. And what was going on is a fight to the death, right? Senseis or samurais fight to the death. If you lost, you died. You only lost because you died. If you won, obviously you stay alive. So it's a battle between this samurai who, like I said, I forgot his name, and there's another samurai. These are supposed to be the best samurais in all of Asia. They finally fight. It's like Kobe and LeBron, but for samurais. And instead of showing up to the fight on time, he shows up an hour late on purpose. This was to play psychological tricks on his opponent. He had defeated his opponent in the mind already before he even showed up physically. So when you implement this into the art of war, when you implement this into what Sonny is doing in the first card that he plays, then you understand the strategy of his first card. He's psychologically playing with most of the racers in their mind without even doing too much. So get to the first race. And the first race, this is when hold on, did I okay, yeah. So the first race, Sonny sees everything that needs to be improved. Whereas JP doesn't see where improvement needs to be. Why? Because he doesn't know. He doesn't understand that yet. He doesn't know how to look through that lens. He's only focused on trying to win. He's only focused on the media, and he's only focused on the girls and the money. Sonny sees everything that's wrong. He sees everything that's wrong with the pit crew. He sees everything that's wrong with the car. He sees everything that's wrong with the communication in the box. He sees everything. And you even see him in the movie like, this is crazy. Are you serious? Are we serious? Like, they did a pit stop for Sonny. It was a 9-second pit stop. They did a pit stop for JP. It was a 7-second pit stop. And one of the pit crew members fucking dropped the damn bolt. The gun bolted. The bolt gun, my fault. The bolt gun jammed while they was in the middle of changing tires, and she puts that down to grab a different bolt gun. Grabs that, switches out his tires, and then they drop the car. He goes. He runs over the other bolt gun because she forgot to pull it out. And he said, "I just ran something over. What was that?" So it's a lot of chaotic energy. It's a lot of mistakes being made, which is fine because it needs to be seen. It needs to be seen. Ruben's job, what is Ruben's job in the movie? His job is to trust his team regardless of what happens. That is all he has to do. Because when somebody trusts in you and when somebody keeps faith in you, regardless of how shitty things get and how bad things get, yeah, you might get pissed off. That's cool. That's understandable. But at the same time, as long as you keep that faith and that trust in your team, they'll come through for you. This is a type of leadership skill that Ruben is demonstrating. So you got JP, Sonny. After their first race, they both demonstrate how they communicate differently. JP calls Sonny a swan. He calls him a swan. He says, "Well, you call me what? What is that?" He said, "A swan. You call me a swan. A swan." It's basically supposed to be a derogatory term, like a disrespectful term in the British culture, I think. So he calls him that. They go back and forth. They're fighting about what Sonny did wrong and JP did wrong. It's just an argument, right? And the press sees it. And once JP sees that the press sees him, he tries to play it off. He tries to play like cover up. He tries to make it seem like everything's all right, tries to put on a big smile on his face or whatever. And he walks away. He walks away after that. This is also another demonstration of his immaturity to be able to communicate effectively. So, next scene, the girl who dropped the bolt gun in front of the car and JP ran the car over, she's pulling out all the tires while Sonny's taking an ice bath. She doesn't know that Sonny's in there. She apologizes. And he asked if she was feeling better because she was beating herself up from that mistake she had made, And she said, a little bit. So he said, try not to be shitty to yourself. There's enough people in the world that'll do that for you. And that's a message that we all need to take. A lot of us, I feel like, are hard on ourselves for whatever reason. But again, that goes into you understanding yourself, which means you have to have that teamwork and that capability of trusting yourself, going within yourself for every question and every answer that you have. You understand what I'm saying? So we got that. Where is he? Oh shit, I lost my spot in the notes, baby. Oh, okay. So following her walking and leaving from the scene, Ruben comes back into the scene. The ice bath, he says, stay in the ice bath, don't go anywhere out of the ice bath. JP or Sonny tells Ruben, JP's cocky, he's arrogant, he's got a lot to learn. Remember, this is a mirror. Remember, everybody's got egos in this movie that they have to let go of in order to grow. So all that he is saying about JP, he's also saying about himself without him realizing that he's talking about himself. And then Ruben puts it in his face like, oh, you sure? Like, you sure it's not you? Or maybe both of you, right? So something like that along those lines. And Sonny tells Ruben the car is not they're not going to be able to win with that car. So now that Sonny has raced the car in actual race conditions, he goes to the tech girl, the aerodynamic girl, the girl that he likes, and he's asking her, is it possible to put two cars on the screen? Can you figure out how to do aerodynamics based off the turbulent air coming from the car in front? And she says, it's possible, yes, but I'm not going to do that, or some shit. Like, she's resistant to it. She's resistant to the idea because she doesn't trust Sonny yet, right? And she doesn't like him at the same time. So he says, we need to build a car for combat so we can attack in the turns, right? Because this is how he drives. This is his method of driving. This is an idea. We need to attack in the turns. This is the first time the idea is presented to her. She's, like I said, resistant to it. They make a deal. They go out to eat. They make a deal. She says, okay, if you finish one race, then I'll talk about it. I'll actually listen to you. Because at this point, Sonny hasn't finished the race yet. He's only crashed 2 cars, right? So that's the deal that they make. Sonny studies Josh film race to learn his racing style. And JP does the same thing. Did I say Josh? Joshua, it's the same thing. It's all the same thing. Shit. It's all the same thing. This is when JP actually watches Sonny's wreck online. It reminds me of Doc Hudson's wreck from Cars. And you see Sonny's body is just kind of laying there. It looks lifeless, but obviously he's not lifeless because he's still alive. And it's a lot for JP to take in. He just closes the computer. When Sonny's studying JP, he's learning JP's strategy to benefit them. This is how he starts developing the strategy for them to place in Hungary, which is the next upcoming race. So you've got him, you got to the next scene, he's got his deck of cards, he's shuffling a deck of cards, and they're having their team meeting, their drivers meeting, where it's all the drivers, it's all the people that's going to be tech on the crew, and then you got all the tech people who will be behind the scenes in the building. I don't know what they're called, but they see the race and shit like that. So they're all headsets, everybody's connected, everybody's talking. And they ask if the drivers had anything to put in. JP brings his immaturity out again and says, maybe we actually race to win and actually race to be a team, and something about hope that we win or some shit like that. Sonny responds with, hope is not a strategy. We create our own breaks. And this is extremely true. This can be applied, oh my God, to everybody in this life, in your everyday life. Everybody sit around hoping some shit will happen and pop off. Nothing's gonna happen, baby, until you make it happen. You understand? Because you're your own creator. You create everything. You create everything. That's why people with the victim mentality, they struggle to grow because they can't see how they're the ones who created the issues that they're in. If you create problems, you also create the solutions. You understand what I'm saying? It's all within. It's all within. This is why it's so important for you to have this teamwork within yourself. Within yourself. Because only then, when you have the teamwork within yourself, then you can know how to be an actual good team member externally. You got to be a good team member internally before you can do it externally. The external is just a delayed form of consciousness. It's just a delayed picture, a holograph of what you're displaying inside. Some of that shit might be hard for somebody to grasp, but guess what? You on this channel and we gonna talk about majestic shit. And you gonna learn how to be majestic. You gonna learn that you already are majestic. You just gotta remember how majestic you really are, motherfucker. You feel me? Yeah, I know you feel me. I know you feel me. You ain't gotta answer. You ain't gotta answer. You hear me? You ain't gotta answer, baby. You don't even gotta answer. Let's get to the next one. Where we at? So they have plan A, plan B, and then they'll go back to plan A. Sonny's strategy is we need a plan C when plan A fails. One of the drivers hits his back tire, makes his flat tire go, or back tire go flat. Sonny comes in, he says, we need to do a plan C. And they say, plan C? There is no plan C. And he's saying, well, do you see plan A working? If plan A is not working, then how the hell can plan B work? We need to go to plan C. So what is that idea? What is that? What is plan C? Sonny comes in for the pit crew. He asks for soft tires. They give him hard tires. This is the first time that you remember the kid, the little girl that the head tech person has, the ball guy with the belly on him, the white guy, and he has the kid that he lets his kid play in the F1 car. This is the first time we see his ego. Sonny says, give him soft tires. He tells him, no, go hard tires. That's the plan. So here's the part where we're talking about detachment again. They talked about the plan, so he's attached to that plan because he's certain of what's going to happen. He doesn't want to change the plan because he's uncertain of what will happen, whereas Sonny is not afraid of the unknown at this point in time. He's already got his cards, so he already knows he's got to improvise if he needs to. He is playing his cards now. So they're going back, and they're not even going back and forth. It's really the head tech guy is arguing with Sonny. Sonny's just looking at him because when they drop the car back down after they change the tires, Sonny doesn't go. He just sits there. They sit there for about 30 seconds until he says, finally, give him the soft tires. Gives him the soft tires. Sonny goes back out, and Sonny starts implementing his plan C strategy. This is the ego. He had to let go of his ego. The head tech guy had to let go of his ego in order to see progress, which he doesn't see at first until he starts catching on to the plan. The female tech lady, she's the one who starts seeing what Sonny's actually doing. After they switch the tires from hard to soft, Sonny tells the head pit crew chief, be ready. He say, ready for what? Doesn't respond. Just says, be ready. And then he goes back out into the race. So JP becomes fearful because the strategy that's being used, Sonny is basically, he's like, it's a way that he times it. He's timing the way to where he's like popping his tires, but it's good enough to the where he's like, not even his tires, he's knocking off his spoiler, the corner of his spoiler off of other drivers' tires, and it's leaving debris on the track. You have to clean up the track. You can't leave that on the track. It's going to fuck up other drivers, right? Because you're going 200 miles an hour in these F1 cars. So each time this happens, it requires for a car to come out, requires them to put like a yellow flag. It's a delay. And basically the strategy is to keep doing this, and they can gain position. They can gain position each time that Sonny goes into the box, goes into the pits to get a new wing. JP is told to stay out so he can gain more position. And this starts working, and it starts putting them in position to actually score for the first time in 2 seasons. So JP becomes fearful because he's staying out longer than he's used to. He's never pushed his tires to the max the way that he did in that race. So he's saying like, hey, like, I don't know if I can make these tires last. Sonny says, make the tires last. Save your tires. Like, let me do all the work, basically. Soon after the 3rd time, the head pit chief catches on. He says, I know, be ready. He catches on. The next time they come in, then the rest of the team is starting to catch on to what Sonny's doing. And then they realize he's actually putting them in position to score. Right? So this is where it comes into having confidence in yourself. Trust in yourself regardless of what other people are telling you. Because if you listen to other people, you'll never fucking win. You keep listening to mom and dad, you'll never win. Especially if they're not where you want to be. If you keep listening to all these outside noise, how can you hear what your own self is telling you? How can you hear the guidance from your own team within? If you can't hear them, what makes you think you can hear people outside? Which is ironic because the problem with Sonny was that he didn't listen. For some reason, he was able to listen to his internal voice. Right? So, where's that at? We're going on an hour, boy. Look, I did not intend for this. I did not know this video was going to take this long, bro. And I got 4 page. We on page 4. and I got 11 pages worth of these notes. So I might cut this halfway, and we might have to cut this into a part two. This damn near turned into a podcast. It went from a fucking video to a podcast. Where I did not, like I said, this was not supposed to be this long. But hey, fuck it, I'm gonna drop the gems. I said I was gonna drop the gems, and we're gonna drop all the motherfucking gems. You're gonna get every single gem, whether you like it, motherfucking, or not. You understand what I'm saying? And that's on me, baby. Look. So, where we at in the race? They get 10th. They finish 10th. JP's excited. His inner child comes out because they finally placed in a race. He's finally scored some points. He's excited. He's celebrating. Sonny asks, what are you smiling about? It's just 10. It shows you his attachment to winning. It shows you his detachment to scoring. It shows you his detachment to everything. You know what I'm saying? And then you also have the 10 coming up again with the focus on your reality. You know, focusing on the gateway experience, the focus 10, when they first brought up the 10. So now this is the only time they say 10. It's only 10. So when they say 10, they don't say it to come out. At this point, they go into focus mode. This is a subconscious thing. It's a subliminal. So I hope you got that gem right there and understood it. They go to the press conference. They explain everything. They do their part. After the press, Sonny comes to Ruben, who is talking to the one of the board members. He has one of the board members in his office. And Sonny says, no more press. I don't remember what Ruben's response was. But again, whatever his response was, Sonny says, take it out of my check. Again, this is a play on perception. First time he did it was when Ruben came and said, this is a Gucci suit. Sonny says, so is this. And he has a white t-shirt on. Dingy white t-shirt on and jeans. This time he says, take it out of my check. Ruben says, we don't pay you enough. This symbolizes the wealth, again, that he already feels within himself internally. The richness that he already has within himself internally. This is the second time he's displayed it. So this goes back to confidence in yourself, belief in yourself, trust in yourself, the perception of yourself. Because that's the only thing that matters. The only thing that matters is how you perceive yourself. Who gives a fuck what everybody else thinks? They don't even know you. And they'll never know you. They'll never know the true you because people only see you through the lens that they can see themselves. You understand? The female tech sticks to her deal. He comes in and sees that she's got the 2 cars on the screen. She's trying to figure out the turbulent air and aerodynamics. Figuring that out. This is simulation. Fuck. It's symbolic. Hey, it's symbolic. It's symbolic because look, this is another team member removing their ego. This is another team member removing their ego in order to grow. So it starts with that head tech guy. Now you've got the female tech removing her ego. And then it just starts becoming a domino effect. All right, page 5. We about halfway through. I tell you what, I'm gonna do page 5 and I'm gonna do page 6. And then what we're gonna do, we're gonna God damn boy. We're gonna I was gonna break this up into segments, but this motherfucker is an hour long, bro. I do not feel like editing that, dude. You know what I mean? So, and I want to get this out to y'all quickly. So what I'll do is I'll go through the notes of page 5 and page 6, and then I'm gonna cut this. I'm gonna post this. Y'all catch up with this. Y'all watch this as many times as you need to grasp all the gems that I'm talking about and how it reflects to us internally. And then while y'all do that, I'll work on the second part, and then I'll put that up, and then we'll go from there. We'll go to the next movie from there. This motherfucker might really need to be a podcast. You know what's crazy? Let me tell you something that's crazy as fuck, family. This is aside from the notes real quick. Personal experience. I used to work valet downtown. I ain't gonna say where. I used to work valet downtown. Next to me was like a little coffee shop, little pastry shop. This lady walks out. She's the driver that brings in all the pastries for the morning. She always came about 6:50, 7 o'clock on a dot. Clockwork. Every single time. She wasn't a minute late, one a second behind, one a second ahead. And one day she came in there. I had to yell at one of these guests who checked out the hotel. They were walking away from me, and while they was walking away from me, I had a question come to my head. I was like, "Fuck, I gotta catch him." And I seen how far he was, and I was like, "Bro, I'm not running. Fuck it, I'm not going down there." I'm like, "Hey, la 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 la," I'm yelling at him. And when we done talking, like once he answers my question, I'm like, "Okay, bet, say no more." The bakery lady who brings in all the pastry, she's like, you have a nice voice. You should be like a radio show host." And I'm like, "What?" Mind you, this is the first time I'm hearing some shit like this. This is the first time I ever heard some shit like this in my life. I'm like, radio show? I'm like, man, get the fuck out of here. Get out my face. You weird. That's some weird ass shit. Why you gonna tell me that? Tell me I got a nice voice. What kind of shit is that? Do you see the trauma? Do you see the trauma and how I responded to that shit? Like, who the fuck are you to tell me I got a nice voice? I ain't trying to hear that shit. You could tell I had pain in my voice. Not even able to accept a damn compliment. I was so traumatized. But it's all gravy. We handled that. That was part of the damn journey, right? Then my sister tells me, you know, you should do a podcast because you like to talk. And I was like, well, I don't like to talk. I just like to make sure y'all get the message and understand the same shit that I'm seeing. Like, we don't see shit differently, but I know if I can explain it a little bit, you can understand the way that I think, and then you can apply not only with the way I think, but you can apply it to your own life. And it's going to help you. I know it's going to help you because it's so universal for everybody. It's not just the way that I think, it's the way the universe thinks. Then I had an old roommate, ex-roommate. We ain't friends no more or nothing. We used to be cool. You know what I'm saying? Being roommates change you niggas. You know what I'm saying? So even this nigga said, you should start like a podcast. Second time I'm hearing, I'm like, the third time I'm hearing, I'm like, all right, what the fuck is up with this podcast, bro, y'all? What the fuck going on, man? Hold on, wait a minute. You know, because me, back then, if I heard something 3 times, then I would look. Then I would start investigating it myself. That's how I used to see. When I seen things, if I seen the same number 3 times, and it don't got to be in the same day, but I start seeing it more and more and more. It's like, okay, say we at an hour and 12 minutes in this video. I start seeing 112. I'm like, okay, I see it. Don't give a fuck about it the first time. See it again, maybe 3-4 days later. Second time, I don't give a fuck. Fuck that. It don't mean shit. I see it the third time, like, okay, hold on, wait a minute now. Ain't no way I seen this shit 3 times already. Ain't no way. And what happens, it starts happening faster and faster and faster. We talk about synchronicity, alignment, right? And then I have a friend who I'm still currently friends with who also has his own podcast. And before he starts this podcast, he even tells me I should start a podcast. I'm like, I'm not starting no podcast, bro. I'm not doing no podcast. Fuck that podcast, bro. That shit, I see you do this podcast and that shit look like a lot of work. Why the fuck would I want to do that? Like, I don't want to work. I want to play. You know what I mean? I want to get paid to play and to exist. And that's what I'm going to do. Only to come to find out that this shit taking longer than I expected. And now it's damn near like a fucking podcast. So we'll see. Y'all let me know in the comments. Matter of fact, actually, it don't really matter what y'all say in the comments. Look, but don't take it personally. Because there will be times that I actually want y'all's opinions in the comments. But specifically towards this, it's probably, I say it like this. If it ain't positive, if it ain't going to benefit me, you don't waste your time commenting. Because I'm going to just look right past it. And I won't respond to you if you're negative anyways. You know what I'm saying? It just don't work like that for me no more. Let's get back to the notes, though. I said the notes. The notes. Let's get back to the notes. We went off track a little bit. Fuck it. Maybe my sister was right. Maybe I do like to talk. So goddamn what? Everybody like to hear their own voice every now and then. If you don't, you need to figure out what's going on with your confidence. So, oh my gosh. Hey, let me chill out. Fuck that. I ain't chilling out. This is me. This is who I am. This is Majestic. About to get majestic. You understand what I'm saying? So let's get to it. So, next part. Pit crew chief. The female who had the bolt gun jam, they start running with Sonny. One of Sonny's rituals, he would run on the track. He would run the entire circuit of whatever track that they was at. as a warm up, as an exercise, kind of to get his mind right. These two start tagging in with him because they see his potential. They see what he's doing. They see his vision. They trust his vision. They have faith in his vision. They have faith in him. So what happens? They start following like a domino effect. Naturally, people are going to follow a leader. It's just going to happen. Whether the leader's hold on. Whether the leader is, whether he has good intentions or negative intentions, whether the leader is constructive or destructive. That's what I wanted to say. I didn't want to say, I was trying to stay away from good and the bad because I don't like saying good and the bad because good and bad don't exist. They're just different rates of vibration, but they're the same thing. So whether the leader is destructive or constructive, people are going to gravitate towards it naturally. Obviously, if it's a destructive leader, the destructive people are going to be gravitating towards him or her. The constructive people are going to gravitate towards him. So this is the first time you see, again, this first time you start seeing teamwork outside of racing. You start seeing friendship. Start seeing a bond beginning to form within the team, right? So now the team meeting happens, and in this team meeting, this is when they're in Hungary. This is when they, Sonny came up with the plan last time, which was improvised. He had to come up with some shit off the top of his head because his tires went flat because of another driver before they could even get out the first lap. So this time, they do the strategic meeting. Everybody's talking. They ask if any other drivers have any questions. The head pit crew or the head tech guy, the female tech lady looks at the head tech guy and asks, so is this like, what's the plan? And he responds with, don't look at me. You need to look to him, talking about Sonny. At this point, you can tell Sonny's ego is removed. What gives this away is, again, Sonny shows he is detached from winning. He doesn't care about winning. He does, but he doesn't obsess over it. It's kind of like manifestation. You got to want it, but not want it at the same time. See what I'm saying? So Sonny tells JP, win the race. You win the race. I'm going to handle my part to help you win the race. And that's it. At this point, you can infer that Sonny is basically the leader of the team because they're pointing to him. They're looking to him for the answers. Similar to Jesus, for all y'all who are Christians and religious. Similar to Jesus, similar to Muhammad, similar to, or is that Allah? I ain't gonna hold you. I don't know the Islamic culture completely and wholly. But I do know the name Muhammad is in there somewhere, and I know Allah is in there somewhere. So, similar to those. But at this point, Sonny unknowingly is the leader. He doesn't recognize that he's the leader just yet. So, and he doesn't treat it as if he's the leader. He treats himself as if he is a team member, which demonstrates the humility, which is an excellent example of leadership. You know what I'm saying? So, if you want to be some type of leader, this movie also shows you and demonstrates to you how to do that as well, on top of teamwork. So the team develops more belief and trust in Sonny's Plan C. They like Plan C. They start referring to it as chaos, because chaos and control is where all the magic happens. Think about it. There's not one major change that has ever happened, whether it's in the United States or the entire world together. Haiti, I meant Haiti, Africa, Europe, Australia, anywhere on the planet. No significant changes have not happened without chaos happening first. Everybody's going crazy over Trump. I'm about to break it down to you so fucking realistically. Everybody's tripping on Trump, but here's the thing. Chaos has to happen before something gets better. And might I add, look, because I want y'all to know, I don't give a fuck about any politics. I didn't vote for nobody, and I never vote. Them like, oh, well, that's the reason why you got to start voting. No, dumb motherfucker, that shit is simulated. It's a simulation. It's a simulation. But you motherfuckers cannot be mad at Trump because he's doing exactly what the motherfucker said he was going to do. You got to give him credit for that. At least he stayed true to what he said, because all these other politicians, they'll tell you A, but they'll go and do B. Trump said A, and now this nigga's doing A, and everybody's like, hey, hold on. What the fuck? Now y'all scared. It's like, hey, what you scared for? I told you this is what I was going to do. Y'all didn't believe me until I started showing y'all, which is kind of funny because it's ironic, because that's the same thing that happens with Sonny in the movie. No one's believing him until they start showing him. And listen, this ain't even a point that I had written down. This ain't something that I had where I was like putting this in the notes. I didn't put this shit in about Trump. That shit just came off the top of my dome. And it just so happened that I was able to connect that right then and there and see it while I was explaining that to y'all, which is, like I said, it's just kind of crazy how that works. Visualization. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Shit's beautiful. So you have that. Sonny, this is the part where we spoke about briefly where they were in a meeting and Sonny says JP's impatient. So this is that part of the movie. This is when they're in Hungary. They get to the end of the race. They're on the last lap. JP says, or Sonny tells JP, be patient. It's raining. Be patient. Go around the curve. After you get out the curve, you can take him. You can overtake him and take the win and win the race. So, like I explained earlier, JP becomes excited. His ego takes over. It causes JP to slide and go airborne into a ball of flames. We'll fast forward into the hospital. The mother blames Sonny without knowing the entire story. The mother blames Sonny and says it's basically his fault that her son is in the hospital. But she doesn't know that Sonny is the one who told her son to be patient. Sonny is the one who told him not to take the move until he got out of the bend, not before the bend. But he lets her believe that, right? This demonstrates power. This demonstrates power, and it demonstrates protection of your energy. You don't drain yourself to people who don't know the entire story. If they already, like I said, people only see you to the lens that they can see themselves. So they already have preconceived notions about who you are before you even get the chance to explain who you are. You motherfuckers is probably judging me from that first video, don't even understand how intelligent I am until I start speaking right now. Until I start showing you how to connect everything right now, because everything is interconnected, including me and you. Because to even watch this video, what do you need? You need connection. You need some Wi-Fi connection or some type of data connection to even get online. But you don't even need that. You know what I'm saying? You don't even need that to be still connected. All the trees in the planet, they're connected under the earth. Every tree, the tree in my front yard is connected to your tree in the front yard. How, Majestic? You think about it, motherfucker. You think about how deep them roots really go. You think about it. What is separating them trees? Because there's no real separation. There's no real separation. You think that street is separating your side of the street from my side of the street, or your side of the street from Becky's side of the street? You remove that concrete, what do you got? Dirt, soil. So you think these trees ain't connecting their roots under that ground, under the road? You don't think the biggest trees in Africa and motherfucking South America, you don't think they connected? We'll talk about that later. That's a perception. It's a perception thing. So the mother blaming Sonny it goes back to when I said humans love to play victim so that they don't have to take responsibility for what they created. I mentioned this earlier. This goes into effect. She's playing victim, but she doesn't understand the story completely. JP never once plays victim. He misinterprets what's going on with Sonny, because once JP is out, he has to miss 3 races. During these 3 races, Sonny is showing his ass. He's winning. He's placing high. So from JP's point of view, it looks like Sonny tried to fuck him over and say, you know, take the turn. But he knows deep down, Sonny told him to wait. But for whatever reason, he's not looking at it from that perspective. He's ignoring that part right now. He's listening to his manager, who's keep feeding this bullshit about Sonny to him, which is then altering his perception. This is a foreshadow and symbolic of pay attention to who you're surrounding yourself with. You become them. Top 5 people you surround yourself with is who you become. And if you don't surround yourself with nobody, who are the 5 people that you watch consistently on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok? You becoming like them. Who are the top 5 people you listen to in music? You becoming like them. Top 5 podcasts, since we brought that up, you becoming like them. So even if you're not there physically, you still around somebody somehow, some way. You're still connecting with someone somehow, some way. So you had this demonstration of his manager, JP's manager, feeding straight bullshit and nonsense into JP's head, which is now altering his perception of Sonny. And he's taking it from the perception that Sonny fucked him over, took him out the races so he can take over and try to take his place. So he's more fearful. He's moving from fear. When you move from fear, you do the most dumbest shit because you're in a fear-based state. You're in a survival state. That's really what it is. You know, you're in a survival state of mind. In the movie, towards the end, I guess you can infer it's probably like the last week of JP's injury, where he's trying to recover. He's taking off the hand wraps from his hand, the burns that he had on his hands from the wreck. He switches from a simulation physical training, right? He switches from simulation training to physical training. You see earlier in the movie, he's running on the treadmill. He's got this fucking mask. It's supposed to help with your breathing strength. It's supposed to make your lungs stronger. All this is bullshit. It's bullshit. And why do I say that? Because I ran track. And I almost bought the shit. I almost bought it. But again, I had someone who was intelligent enough, who was wise enough, and I was blessed enough and grateful enough to be able to mentor me, who told me, you better not waste that shit on waste your money on that shit. And then he told me if another athlete had that on her mask, I ain't gonna say her name, but he was referencing her, and he said, if she had that on her mask, I'd snatch it off her face. So this is how I know it's bullshit. The real strength conditioning for your lungs comes from the running, comes from the hard runs, the long runs, the way that Sonny is training. So you see JP takes it on. He starts running physically. I did run track. He sprinted at the end. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to hold you. His fucking form was garbage, all right? That's just coming from me as a track runner and understanding form and technique. You're supposed to be cheek to cheek. This motherfucker was side to side. I don't know what the fuck he was doing with his arms. That is terrible. Do not copy that. If you like track and you look up to this man, that is fine. Do not copy that race. Do not copy that form. That form is going to slow you down. And your own coach will tell you that shit. I know that's outside of you wanted to throw that in there. Terrible form. There's just something else our people's like, goddamn, bro, this shit, he would get left in every race if he ran like that for real. But like I said, it's a movie. 50% of the movie is true. 50% of every movie is true. Don't believe that shit that they tell you. What you see in the movies is not real, because that's straight bullshit. Listen to the last hour and a half that I've given you and put real life fucking shit to it. Connected real life shit to it. You understand what I'm saying? So this shows he goes to the training method, and he even picks up the tennis balls. Remember I told you the first race, he was visualizing with the driving, with his mom. And then I said, Sonny, throws cards, and then he throws tennis balls or bounces tennis balls. He picked up tennis balls. JP picked up tennis balls and started throwing them off the window, catching them, working on coordination, hand-eye coordination, right? Does that. When he returns with a big ass ego. You can see it in his aura. You can see it in his body language. You can see it in his face. He comes back with something to prove, but he has nothing to prove. He doesn't need to prove anything, but he's coming back to try to prove something so he can keep his spot, because he's moving from a state of fear. He's moving from survival mode now, right? At the beginning of the movie, he was not moving from survival mode. Yeah, he was a dickhead. That's just because he was young. He didn't know no better. But now he's moving from fear, and he's still a dickhead. You know what I'm saying? So he comes back with a point to prove, and he becomes jealous of the crowd chanting Sonny, and people's got pictures of Sonny's face in the crowd, because remember, JP is only concerned with the media. He's only concerned with the girls. He's only concerned with the money. So the fans in the crowd being part of the media. My alarm just went off. It's 3 o'clock. I gotta get ready to go. Shit. Supposed to be going to a little reggae festival. This shit about to be lit. You know what I mean? About to hop in that bit like, oh, I go on, brother. On my soul, I am. You know what I mean? But look, like I said, and plus that's perfect timing because we wrapping up this last page too. We got one more bullet point on this page. So, but he becomes jealous of the crowd chanting Sonny. The crowd's got pictures of Sonny's face. And JP doesn't realize that the cars upgrade, because at this time they've put the upgrade with the new aerodynamics that the tech girl was working on is finally there. They put it onto the car, so now they can attack in the corners and curves with ease, away like at a higher rate of speed. I want to say she said at a rate of 300 or 315. I don't remember if she said kilometers or miles per hour, but it's one of those measurements. Whereas before they could only come into the curve at 250 or whatever. So JP comes out with an ego. He fucks up Sonny and then continues to race, but doesn't realize he's only placing in this race because of the upgrade that came from Sonny. So he's seeing it from such a narrow mindset, he doesn't see the whole picture. And that's holding him back. So, yeah. And then the next phase is when they go to the meet, which is perfect. I opened it up and I closed with that. So you got that right here. So we're going to leave it. We got page 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 left for part 2. So until then, y'all enjoy this. Y'all fuck with this. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I did not mean for it to be this long, but evidently it was supposed to be this long. And like I said, I'm going to make sure you get the gems, all the gems, not just half the gems. Ain't no point in gatekeeping. Gatekeeping for what? Gatekeeping for what? We here to help each other. We got to help each other. That's the only way we going to make it. That's the only way we going to make it. You understand? Help me, help you, help us. All right. If you fucking with this, let me know in the comments. If you got any suggestions for any other movies, you can drop these in the comments. You can drop those in the comments. It don't have to be movies specifically in the movie theater right now. I only chose F1 because my inner child, when I seen the previews for it, to go, I think I went and watched, I don't even remember what movie I went and watched. It was a cartoon, one of the cartoons that came out. I went and watched that cartoon, but I seen F1 commercials or trailers while I was watching that cartoon in the movies. Lilo and Stitch. I went to go watch Lilo and Stitch. What's it called? The real version, not the with the real humans. I forgot what they call it, but it's with the real version with the real human beings, not the cartoon. So when I went to watch Lilo and Stitch, also another reason why I went to watch was inner child. Right, bonded with my inner child. That's when I seen the previews for F1. I was like, yeah, we gotta see that shit. There's definitely gems in there. So, like I said, drop the movie comments, movie suggestions. You got a movie you ever wanted to watch, or you always watch but you never understood completely, or you want to just see my point of view from that. of the movie, drop it in the comments. I got you. I'll tap into that once we finish this second part, once I get the second part recorded. Or I'll just watch it whenever I've got time. I'll take the notes on it, and then once we finish this second part of F1, I'll drop that video. All right. Any questions or whatever like that, I'm gonna drop the email, my Instagram, and a TikTok. And that's probably it. Probably, you got 3, or you can drop your questions in the comments as well. So you got four sources to get in touch with me, bro. Outside of that, y'all motherfuckers been real. If you stayed through this entire video, you was a real motherfucker. You was a real nigga, and I fucks with you, and I like to have you on my team. Let's start building the motherfucking soul tribe right now, nigga. You understand what I'm saying? On my soul, look, it's about to get majestic. I know this motherfucking video had you thinking like, what the fuck? This guy is majestic. What the fuck? His thoughts is majestic. On my soul, you know what I mean? So look, peace and love. I'm gonna get at y'all on part 2. I'm finna upload this. I'm probably not gonna edit it. I probably will not edit it because this is an hour long. The last time I edited an hour long video, it took me an entire week to edit. So because of that, because of time, which isn't real, doesn't exist, it's not linear. That's what I should say. Time is really not linear. I'm gonna just upload this, and what I'll do, I ain't gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just do it. But I'll upload this. Once this uploads, I'll start recording part 2 for y'all. All right, so peace and love. Like I said, I appreciate y'all coming through. I appreciate you liking the video. If you liked it and then left and then came back, you also a real motherfucker, and you part of this tribe. You're this tribe too. You know what I mean? And it's gonna get real majestic in this motherfucker. All right. So thank you to you as well. You know what I'm saying? Share the video with anybody you think need to see it, even if it's just one part of the segment, whatever the case is. Like I said, we gotta help each other. I can't get seen and help and reach the people that I'm trying to reach without y'all sharing. So it takes, again, teamwork. The whole overall message of this movie is teamwork. So it takes teamwork. It takes a community. It takes me dropping the video for you to realize what I'm talking about and understand what I'm saying, and then apply it to your own life. And then I need you to help me by sharing the video. And it ain't costing nobody shit. It ain't costing nobody nothing, right? Because you can listen to this while you're driving. That's what I would be doing. If we were switching places right now, I'll be having this motherfucking play while I'm driving. You know what I'm saying? I don't necessarily need to watch the video. You know what I'm saying? The voice, the words is gonna hit. But if you chose to watch the video, that's cool too. It don't really matter. But I ain't really doing much. I had an idea of trying to add parts of the movie into the screen, but now that I see this motherfucker's an hour long, I'm not doing that shit. Fuck that. Also, I'm not doing that shit. But I might break it up into small segments, and then I might do that. But right now, hell nah, fuck that. On my soul, I ain't doing that. I ain't doing that shit. Right? But y'all been real. This shit was fun. I appreciate y'all. And shit. Outside of that, peace and love, man. Y'all be safe. Y'all stay grounded. All right. It's about to get majestic.
I had to close no chapters. Ghost in. Burn my boots, big shoes. All wins, don't lose. Just choose. And watch the magic light up your fuse. Trust in yourself, boy. I give you cahoots. Plant my feet, let me ground my roots. Oh, excuse.